Okay, I think I figured that out. Cool. This is fun. I haven't done this before. All right. Cool. All right, I'm going to get started now. So let me give you all a quick rundown of what I've got going on. So doubleyourfreelancing.com. It's basically a big blog that we sell courses.
I figured that out. Cool.
Oh, oops. Let me.
This is fun. I haven't done this before.
How do I shut that off? There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So it's a blog, sell courses, get a lot of traffic to the site. I mean, well, a lot's relative, but I get about 1,000 people a day to the site from Google, hitting any of the number of different articles that I have across the site. Right now, I'm getting about 40, 50 people a day converting from this widget that I have in the bottom right, where when people come to the site or read any article, I ask them different questions about, what's the number one thing you need help with? I want to replace my income. What kind of work do you do? I do design work. And then what I do is I give them a personalized offer based on how they're answering. So that's been working well enough. But I have some data that I want to work with, and I want to show you how I go through looking at the data that I have and making decisions on how I'm going to change the current strategy I have in place. And yeah, I'm just going to, my plan is we just released embedded calls to action and modal calls to action in Write Message, which gives us now toasters, sticky bars, pop-ups, and embedded. So now there's no reason I can't swap out literally everything on the site with this. So that's what I'm going to get going with, or that's what I'm going to give. I'm going to basically try to set this up. Hopefully nothing will break. So, all right. Let me show you what I have going on now. So this is my dashboard for Double Your Freelancing. Right now, about 93% of all my traffic is anonymous. The other 5% are subscribers and then customers. I also, one interesting tidbit is that in terms of the kind of content people are reading, 45% of the most popular. So I'm tracking what kind of content people are reading, and I'm tracking what the most popular category of content is for somebody. So of all the readers of my site, 45% of them are mostly reading my articles on marketing. 15% are reading about running, 11% about starting, and then everything else is in the single digits. So that was really interesting to me when I found that out, because of course I have Google Analytics or whatever showing stats on pages viewed and everything else. But now that I'm able to see trends around the most popular type of content, not individual pieces of content, but category of content, I haven't really done anything with this. So I want to hopefully do something with that today. What kind of work people do? It's pretty, across the board, it's pretty consistent with my expectations. So, about most are, or the majority are developers. Then there's marketers that used to be designers. So that's switched. Another interesting thing is the almost 50% of people want help getting their first client. So I did not realize how new so much of my audience was, because historically a lot of my focus has been on helping people kind of grow an existing consulting business. But I'm finding that almost 50% of people on my site, they're just looking to start. And actually, when you think about it, the other question that I'm asking people is, or the other answer people can give me is that they want to make a full-time living freelancing. So a whole 75% of my audience is not yet full-time freelancing. So that was a big eye-opener for me. Okay, so I have all this stuff. Then I have some other things that I want to, I'm currently working on a Mastering ConvertKit course. So there's some other question stuff that I'm asking there. So in terms of what I currently have set up for my offer funnel, it's pretty straightforward. I don't know if I really like it though. This is what I'm going to change predominantly, is how I do this. So I'm asking 2 questions. So what's the number one thing you need help with today? So, start, replace, boost, or scale. And then I ask them what type of work they do. And then depending on the answer to that first question, I'm sending them down a completely different path. And notice I don't even have yet, I haven't moved over the pitching of people who are already subscribers on my list. So that's something I hope to achieve today, is finally fixing that. Okay, so depending on somebody's answer to what their number one reason that they're here is, I change what I pitch them. So in this case, if you're looking to get your first client, ready to use your skills, so coding skills, design skills, marketing skills, so ready to use your coding skills to get your first client, stop binge reading articles, branding articles. So I'm looking at what they're reading mostly. And it'll say, ready to use your coding skills to get your first client, stop binge reading marketing articles, enroll my free course now. I don't really know if this is working as well as I hoped it would. So I'm going to be redoing that. And then again, everything over here is pretty much the same. It's just a different take on it. So if they're presumably have already worked with clients, but they want to go full-time on what they're doing, ready to start your own full-time business, they're already full-time and want to grow, ready to take your business to the next level. And then finally, if they have an agency and want to scale it, basically I'm telling them I used to run an agency, and then the way I'm pitching my email course will change for them. So all of these are pitching the exact same lead magnet. And this is a course called Charge What You're Worth. It's on how to price yourself. So I'm thinking this is a bit of a mistake. You'll remember I mentioned that at first I thought most of my audience were people who already had a business and wanted to optimize that business. Well, the data is showing that 50% of my audience they don't currently have a business. So for them, I'm even thinking, would it make sense to pitch them on ideally a email course or something on starting a business? But in the meantime, what if I just instead, it pains me to say this, but push them onto my newsletter, position the newsletter to be focused on how this will help you start a business. I can go and wire up a fake evergreen newsletter that just sends out my best content about starting a business. I'll do that for these people. And then for everyone else, for people who are already established, maybe for them, I'll pitch Charge What You're Worth. And yeah, so I think I think I'm going to do that. And then I also need to fill in the blanks and basically figure out what I'm going to pitch people who are already subscribers. So that's my plan for this. Let me make sure my audio and stuff is working. Cool. So now is where things get fun. I'm going to go into Write Message. I'm going to create a new offer funnel called New Offer Funnel. And now I've got this blank slate that I'm going to start work with. And I'm just going to hopefully, I won't go down too many rabbit holes. But again, I want to focus on how do I get more existing or get more traffic to turn into subscribers. And then for subscribers, especially since I don't have anything in place like this currently, I want to pitch the right stuff to returning subscribers. So one thing that I do have set up in ConvertKit is I have what's called an offer funnel. So what I have happening is whenever anybody joins my email list, so if they come in as a new subscriber, or if they get this tag that I apply called recalculate offer, which then I remove that tag at the end of this offer funnel, that allows me to kind of treat this a bit like a function call. So whenever somebody purchases anything, this event recalculate offer will be added to their subscriber record. It will run through this automation, and then it will remove that tag so I can reapply it. So it kind of allows me to do something kind of like events. So I have this run whenever somebody joins my list or when they buy something. And what I'm doing here is I'm just basically setting a next offer custom field based on what they've bought. So the benefit here is that I have in ConvertKit specifically, I'm basically managing based on different data, what should somebody be offered next? So what should they be pitched on next? And because it's kept in ConvertKit and it's stored as a custom field, that allows me when I send out newsletters, I can do things like this. Let me show you this. I can have my email template for my newsletter. And I know this is really probably tricky to read, but what this is doing is it's allowing me to have dynamic PSs. So what I'm able to do is when I send out a newsletter, it will pitch somebody in that newsletter that I send out to all 50,000 people, it will pitch whatever the next offer is. And then if they click from that newsletter over to my blog, the goal is going to be, let's say I just released this article. The call to action on this page, I want to be the same thing, right? So if I'm pitching them on Double Your Freelancing Rate, whether they're on my site or getting emails of mine, I want that same thing being pitched to these people. So that's the goal with this calculate offer. I'm not going to change too much of this. Yeah, actually, I will change this. So I took mastering project roadmaps offline. So I'm actually going to redo this pretty much from scratch now. So I'm going to go to my products catalog, and I have a few different things. So my main thing is Double Your Freelancing Rate. And then I have this course, which is only offered twice a year. I have Client Portal and Project Pack. These are both partnerships I'm doing with Laura Elizabeth. I have my Freelancer Workflow Pack, which is a set of automations made for consultants. I have 12 hours of video recordings for my conferences. And then I have Mastering ConvertKit and Mastering Drip. So it's not as full fleshed out as I want it to be. I'm going to be redoing this course on road mapping at some point in the next few months, but I'm not offering it anymore, so I don't want to pitch that to anybody. So I'm going to remove that. And this might take a second for ConvertKit to do its thing. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to lead people in with Double Your Freelancing Rate at, as the kind of the basic thing. Oh, this kind of got messed up, didn't it? Let me get rid of this stuff. Okay. I don't know what's happening here with the... Okay. I don't know if ConvertKit's rendering is just off or what, but apparently... Yeah, I'm going to just get rid of this entirely. See if I can fix this. Okay, so what I'm doing behind the scenes is I'm using tags to denote whether somebody's bought a product or not. I don't use tags for much, but that's one thing that I am tracking as a tag, because if they have the tag, it's binary. You've either bought the thing or you haven't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to look at, I think my funnel will be Double Your Freelancing Rate, followed by the workflow pack, followed by my conference videos. Although maybe what I should do is maybe Double Your Freelancing Rate shouldn't be the first product. Maybe I should pitch people on the videos if they're not yet started. Because Double Your Rate, I mean, does that make sense if you don't even have a client? Ideally, it would be the blueprint, because that's about how to get clients. But it's a little in depth though. I'm wondering, I mean, to me, this is saying I need some more entry level course available, which I don't have yet. So I'm going to need to figure something out. And again, this thing does not want to get deleted for some reason in ConvertKit. Let's see if I can try this again. So what I'm trying to do, if you're just joining us, is I'm trying to get this automation in ConvertKit to effectively, I want to redo it from scratch. And I won't hold you all up here, because I know this is probably annoying to watch this and just watch this spinning wheel take place. I'm going to defer this to later. So apparently, I don't know what's going on ConvertKit side, but this thing won't delete. So I might need to go and kind of create a new funnel from scratch. I'll do all this stuff later, but basically the gist of it will be an if else, where have they bought Double Your Freelancing Rate? If not, next offer will be Double Your Freelancing Rate. Have they bought all access? Next offer will be all access. And I think what I'm going to do, like I just mentioned, is I'm going to have something at the top where I'm looking at the segmentation data that I have about have they started a business yet, and then I will route them to the videos if they haven't yet started, and if they have a business, to Double Your Freelancing Rate, and then I'll switch. So when they buy Double Your Freelancing Rate, then I want them to buy the workflow pack to basically automate a lot of what I teach in that course. And then if they've bought that, then I would pitch them on the video course. If they've done the videos, I'll then pitch them on Double Your Freelancing Rate and then the workflow pack. And I think that's what I'll do. And then everyone will get pitched when I am ready for the blueprint to be released later this year. I'll switch everyone's next offer to that. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, but that ConvertKit is not playing nicely here. But what I'm going to do, I'm back into Right Message now with this new CTA funnel. So the CTA funnel is kind of like, it's like an automation within your email marketing app. So our whole way of thinking about this stuff is, instead of setting up a bunch of random forms, which most like OptinMonster and Sumo and everything have you do, instead we want to let you map out a flow. So that's what I'm going to be doing now, is I'm going to map out a flow that if this will be fired every time a page is loaded on my site, and it will just do a lot of checking, like, are they on my list? If yes, go down this path. If no, go down this path. I'm going to start at the top with a thing that checks, are they a subscriber or not? And the way I'm doing this, so I'm using ConvertKit. When, if somebody opts in to my list through one of our widgets, or they click a link in an email that is sent by ConvertKit, that link has their ConvertKit ID appended to the end. So we pick up on that. And we know, oh, this is subscriber number 123. They have this tag data, this custom field data, and obviously they're a subscriber. So that's how we know, are they a subscriber or not? Okay, so if they're not a subscriber, which this is what most people are most interested in, is how do I get more people on my list? So the no path would be trying to get people onto our list using email opt-ins. So I think what I'm going to do differently is, if you remember my existing stats, 75% of people haven't yet started. So I think I'm going to start with that question, because what I was asking before was, can't scroll. Before I was asking, oh, I need to click show. Sorry. I was asking, do you want to start? Do you want to replace? Do you want to boost? Or do you want to scale? I'm going to change this and say, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on oh, it's all left channel audio. Thanks, John. I think what I'm gonna ask first will be, are you currently making a living consulting? So I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask something new. Company stage. Are you welcome? Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask people if they're okay with me asking them a few questions. So yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to ask them, do you mind if, so I'm doing this now on, if you look at what we're doing on Right Message, we're saying, hey, can I ask you a few questions? And then sure or not right now. I think I'm going to do the same thing. If they say not right now, I'll pitch them immediately on the newsletter. If they let me ask them questions and I find out a bit about them, then I'll pitch them on something else. Okay, so I'm going to call this DYF okay with questions. Mind if I ask you a few questions? And I'll put a little smiley face. Sure. And then over here, so I don't know if this is going to be the best copy, but I think that'll be good to start. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think I'll then branch off of that. So I'm going to do a yes, no for the DYF questions. So if they're okay with my questions, they'll go down this yes path. Otherwise, I'm going to pitch them right away on my newsletter, which I'll fix before I push this live. So if they don't want questions asked, it'll go directly to the newsletter. And then if they do let me ask questions, the first question I want to find out is company stage. So are you making a full-time income freelancing? Yep. And I wonder if there should be no first, because 75% of my audience is not. So maybe I'll do that. So are you making a full-time income freelancing? And then what I'll do is I'll split by yes, no. Oh, stage, I think is what I called it. So if they are making a full-time income freelancing, I'll ask maybe some subsequent follow-up questions here. If not, that's fine. I'm going to ask them after all these, going to keep that question about what kind of work do they do. So are they designer, developer, all that stuff. That's useful to have. And if they're no, I'm going to ask them, holding back, why haven't you, what's keeping you from freelancing full time? Maybe here could be something like, don't know how to get clients. What else? Don't know how to get clients. Worried it won't work. And what I would do, which I'm not going to do right now, is I'd probably want to. So when people are onboarded onto my email list, I have a PS that says something like, hey, reply and tell me a bit about who you are and what you're looking to get out of our relationship together. And my VA Carrie goes through all those responses and dumps them into a spreadsheet that I'm supposed to look through every once in a while. I haven't done it in a bit, but I think what I'd like to do is go through in that and see what are the kind of major trends. I have some gut level assumptions, like don't know how to get clients, worried it won't work, not good enough, or maybe I have a great full-time job I'm hesitant to replace. Maybe these are kind of good questions, right? So don't know how to get clients, worried it won't work, not good enough, so on. But if they are full-time freelancing, I could say something like ask a follow-up question about company size, business size. How big is your team? Do you work by yourself or on a team? So I did find out 10% of my audience is an agency. So I'd like to still know this. So I'm solo, work at or own an agency. So I think this is good. So are they full-time? Yes. Do you work for yourself or a team? And if no, what's holding you back from being full-time? What kind of work do you do? I think that's good. Cool. Okay. So I think this works. And then I'm going to get into the pitching up here. But what I'd like to do before I move on is there are a few key pages that I think it would make sense to basically offer effectively a content upgrade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my articles that get the most traffic. And I know the ones that do are the Ultimate Guide to Starting, the Facebook ads one, and the email one. So these three get a lot of Google traffic. So I want to basically present, I don't have these yet. I'm going to need to create maybe checklists or PDF downloads or something for each of these. But I'd like to make it so when you're on this page, there is the thing you're being pitched on this is basically a content upgrade that is associated with this. So I need to upgrade this article. Again, I've been so focused on Write Message that I haven't touched any of this stuff, but I do want to update this article. But I'd like to make it so if you're on this article, it's going to be something about that. So what I'm going to do this is within Write Message, I'm going to create a new segment group called, I'm going to call this like content upgrade pages. And this isn't a question, so I'm going to leave that blank. And I think I'm going to add this as the name, the Ultimate Guide, the guide to writing email, and the Facebook guide one. So this will be one, and the Facebook ad. So these are kind of the three pillar pieces of content that get a lot of traffic. So I do want to make it so I'm basically giving them something unique for these people. So I'm going to auto segment. I'm going to say that at the path, the current page. So if the current page equals this, so what this is starting a business. So if it's / start a business here, do the same thing here. So if the current page is this one, and then likewise the get clients one. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to make it so people will move in and out of this segment group. So what will happen is if they're on Start a Freelancing Business, they will be in this segment, the Ultimate Guide to Starting a Freelancing Business. But once they leave that page and go to, say, the home page, they won't be in any of these segments. And then when they come back to maybe this page, it'll be, this segment here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, save this. I'm going to go back to my new offer funnel. And at the top of this, if you're not a subscriber, I think what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to split by segments, which is my, what did I call that? Content upgrade pages. So if they're on one of these key ones, they'll get a specific pitch, but the fallback will be, they'll go down here. So if they're none of these, it'll keep going down this path. So, yeah, so hopefully that makes some sense. So I want to give specific offers to the people on these 3 key pages, but everyone else will go through this questioning funnel. So what I would do here is I'd pitch an offer, call this like pitch, what did I call it? I've been doing a lot where I'm kind of putting in the offer name, who it's targeting. So anonymous dash start business. So get my checklist on starting a freelancing business. I'm not going to get all this live just yet, but I want to show you what I would do. I'm going to have it collect email. And then what I would do here would be, I would, put them on my newsletter, and then I would have a tag that I don't have. Actually, I probably wouldn't put them on the newsletter yet, because I'd probably have a tag that's like content upgrade dash start checklist or something like that. And then when that gets applied, I'll have an automation ConvertKit that looks for that tag and then sends them a link to do it that way, to download that. So that's what I would do there. And then I'd have a specific thank you message for those people. So I would do that across the board here. So I'm going to pitch anon emails to clients. And then likewise over here, I'm going to pitch anon use ads to get clients. So these would all be cheat sheets or checklists or something like that. So if they're not a subscriber, I want this to be the thing that I'm focused on getting people, out the gate. Then the fallback will be this question, kind of like question answer thing that I've got going on. Okay, so this all looks good. Let me just go see if there's anything in the chat coming through. Cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I want to remember, I'm going to give people one offer, which is the newsletter, if they're not yet started. They are started. I want to give them charge what you're worth. And then eventually, when I get a fire lit under me, I'm going to create a new email course that's for beginners. So I'm going to have a yes, no, where what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at answers to these questions. So the answers that I asked were, what is that? Company stage, right? Yeah, so I'm going to split again by company stage. So here's company stage. So remember, yes means full-time freelancing. So if they're yes, this will be the thing that is giving them ultimately charge what you're worth. So I think what I'll do here, just to keep it simple, is I'm going to pitch that, and then I'll call this, what do I have so far? Okay, so I think, okay, so let me see what data we have that I'm going to be able to work with. So if they're yes, I'm going to know, are they solo or an agency? And then what kind of work they do. And I'll get to know the kind of content they're reading. So I think what I'll do here is something like ABC for your... Okay, so this is being pitched to people who already have a business. So XYZ here will be tied to what kind of work do you do. So coding, design, marketing, writing, consulting, freelancing. and the default will be freelancing. So what will happen here is it'll say something for your freelancing business. And then I'll change this to be based on the what they're currently reading. So I'm going to have a default that says something like transform the way you grow. And then something like, because I know, so remember 45% of my traffic is looking at marketing stuff. I'm trying to figure out what the best way to phrase this pitching of my charge what you're worth email course. So it's where things always get tricky, because now we're talking about basically mad-libbing sentences that all need to sound right. So I'm trying to think what would make sense for somebody to see. So I am a learn how to. So if they're marketing, if they're reading marketing, the problem is that they don't have clients. If they're reading running, the problem is that they're overwhelmed. So they're running your business, they're overwhelmed. What was the other? So marketing, running, and starting. So hopefully no one will be reading starting if they're going down the yes path. So I think what I'll do here is I'm going to focus on marketing and starting. So grow your business. Growth a goal for your. Okay, so writing or running overwhelmed with managing your, and then the default will be ready to grow your is getting better clients a goal for you. Okay, so if they're reading marketing stuff, it'll say is getting clients a better goal for your design business. If they're reading stuff on running a business, overwhelmed with managing your coding business, and the default will be ready to grow your get the best not best sentence wrong, get my 9 lesson course on how to grow your your. You can get rid of these. Okay, so this is basically going to say like get my 9 lesson course on how to grow your freelancing business, but that'll change depending on what kind of work they do and what they're reading. So I'll put content here later, but what I'll basically do here is I have a opt-in CWYW tag that I apply to people. This will put them in my email course. Okay, so I'll do that if they're running a business. Otherwise, I'm going to pitch that newsletter again, but I do want to make sure that I'm taking into account what type of work they do. So loving my articles, join other freelancers. So what I'll do here is articles, I'll tie that to WP categories again. So again, this is automatically set. Loving articles on starting a business, articles on branding, articles on marketing, articles on pricing, articles on proposals, articles on PM, articles on running a business, articles on work-life balance, articles on. So community is just stuff about like news about the company. So I'll just leave that blank. So loving my articles, join other 50,000 plus freelancers. So I'll go back here, but not here. What kind of work do you do? Freelance developers, freelance designers, freelance marketers, freelance writers, freelance consultants, I guess, and then freelancers. It's fine leaving that blank. Cool. So what I'm going to pitch the same newsletter to everyone, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it contextual based on the kind of content that they're reading. So loving my marketing articles, join 50,000 freelance developers who get my weekly articles or something like that. And then, this will be any subtext I want to have, push them through here, join now, or something like that. So for these people, they'll be getting the newsletter if they haven't yet started, but if they have yet started, I'm going to pitch them on the email course. Again, eventually, hopefully I'll have a thing on this stuff. Cool. All right, so I'm going to take a little intermission and show you guys. So I've set up the funnel, but I haven't actually said where the stuff's going to be shown. So I'm going to show you what's possible. So if you're a rate message customer, you might see the bottom two ones and you're like, how do I get access to these? So these will be available probably tomorrow, I'm guessing, or Wednesday. But now we have 5 different ways of displaying any of these offers. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out here is what should somebody be offered? And then I'm going to figure out where do I want to offer these things. So in my case, I want to make it so if you are anywhere on my site entirely, except sales pages, I want to show you a top bar. If you're on my blog, I want to show you the toaster pop-up. Actually, no, I'll do the blog or the whole site, also the toaster pop-up. And then if you're on an article, after the article, I'm going to put an embedded widget. So I'm going to call this like, universal top bar here. And I can go and I'm going to style this to be based off of what I've done in the past, which I think is yeah, there we go. Those are my brand colors. So position it to the top, don't pulse the button. And I'm going to say that I want to put this on every page. So I'm going to hide it on my sales pages. So like on my Double Your Freelancing rate, I'm going to hide it on my blueprint page, so on, and I'll fill these out later, but basically I'm going to hide it from those sales pages, which doesn't make any sense to show it. So I want a top bar. I also want a toaster. So I'm going to call this universal toaster. And same deal, I'm going to copy the styling from that top bar and I'm going to hide it on the same set of pages. So rate, blueprint, I'll need to go and again set these all later. I want to have this show up after they've scrolled 50%. And yeah, I think that all sounds good there. And then finally, if they're on my blog, I want to have a blog end of article embed. So this is a bit different in that I need to make this work, I need to take this bit of code that it gives me. So I'm going to call this blog. I got to take this code and then over on my template. So this would be, whatever you do in terms of how your site's set up in WordPress. Here's my WordPress template for articles. I would just put in here this. So what this will do is after a blog post, it'll basically embed what you see over here. So yeah. So I'm pretty happy with this. I have an end of article. So on the blog, I have a toaster pop-up thing. Then I have a sticky bar. Could also add a pop-up modal. This might be killing it. This might be too many CTAs. This is still new, so the preview isn't working, but basically I could copy this over from that and I can make it so it's a exit pop-up too. But yeah, I mean, this looks good. This is like, again, part of our funnels, not forms kind of attitude with this stuff is traditionally you would have like a bunch of you would have your exit pop-up as a form in a tool, and then you would have your toaster widget as a form, and they don't really talk to each other. They're not in sync or any of that stuff. So with this, I just need to figure out what's somebody going to get pitched. I map this all out here, and then they'll be put into one of these different widgets that I've set up on the site. So cool. I'm pretty happy with this, I think. So just to recap, can I ask you a question? If no, here's the newsletter. If yes, are you full-time? If yes, are you solo or team? If no, what's holding you back? Oh, you know what I want to do? I wonder if, so I should be using the what's holding them back instead of this. So maybe instead of ready to get to slay the concern of blah. I'll figure this out in a second. So I think this would be more effective actually for somebody who is not on my list. So I'm going to personalize based off the, what did I call that? Holding back. So finally learn how to get the clients you need to start. Don't let the fear of failure get in your way. On how to take the skills you already have and sell them to clients, no matter how good or bad you think you are. And then want to see if you could do better than you did at your So this is, I'm not trying to come up with a perfect copy here. I'm just trying to get something in here. Let me have the default to be ready to make a living freelancing. So the default, in case you're wondering where this default phrase will be shown, what's going to happen is my top bar, I don't want this to ask any questions at all. I only want this to be, I need to put a question mark there. I only want my sticky bar at the top to only ever be shown, or I don't want to ever ask questions in it. So I want that to always be shown what the offer should be. So if I don't have any of these questions answered because they haven't engaged with one of the widgets that do ask questions, I need a sensible default. So that's why we have a default here. So put a question mark here. So the top bar, they just show up fresh. It'll say ready to make your living freelancing, join 50,000 plus other freelancers who get my weekly articles. So that's what it'll say with the sticky bar. They show up incognito. I know nothing about them on the homepage. That's what they'll see. But then let's say they go to a different page and they answer in the toaster, I am not yet full-time. I'm a designer and I'm held back because I think I'm not good enough. From then on out, that top bar across the site will change to be focused on that data that they've already told us, right? So that's pretty cool, I think. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this as an anonymous kind of pathway for anonymous people. Now I want to focus on returning subscribers. So if you're back and you've already, you're already a subscriber, what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to walk down that next offer chain. And again, I don't want Right Message to figure out who should necessarily get what. All I want Right Message to do is to take that next offer custom field that I have being calculated over in ConvertKit when I get this working right. Take this next offer custom field and then just run with that. So remember, if they buy something, if they buy anything, this function, this automation will get rerun. So if they bought this now and then they now have this tag that says they bought this, they won't get that next offer, right? So I'm letting ConvertKit decide who should get what, keeping that all on their subscriber profile, and then I'm ingesting that when they're back on my site. So I'm just going to run through here, do a bunch of these yes/no decisions where I'm looking at the custom field in ConvertKit of next offer. So if it's double your freelancing rate, do this. If it's not that, do it again. Is next offer, custom field, is next offer all access to video pass? If no, going to do the same thing here, where I could split by yes, no. So does custom field next offer. And again, this isn't anything fun or exciting, but I'm just kind of going down the chain. For me, this makes sense because what I'm doing here is I have a portfolio of products and I just want Right Message to just say, based on whatever anyone has attached to their subscriber data, I just want to kind of let Right Message determine how to, or what to pitch them. And then I'll do stuff here. Next offer, then blueprint. So one thing I want to show you, which is kind of cool, I haven't set this up yet, but this is in the works. So if you join my list, I want to give you kind of a flash sale on Double Your Freelancing rate. So what I could do is I'm going to go and do this real quick. Let me just add a tag real quick called, create a tag called is a crap name, but subscribed. So I use subscribed as kind of subscriber level stuff, eligible for and I'll eligible for discount. So subscribed, double your freelancing rate, eligible for discount. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to say if the next offer is double your freelancing rate and they have this tag of eligible for discount, then I'll automatically, if it's yes, I'll link them to the sales page with a coupon code. And then what I can do is I can make it so if when somebody joins my list, I apply the tag eligible for discount, and then I have it wait like a week or 7 days or whatever. And then after that is done, I tell ConvertKit when that delay finishes, then remove the tag eligible for discount. So that way I can have all these cool like delay-based automation things that are running in ConvertKit that are basically telling me like, is this person eligible for a discount? Are they eligible to buy this? Are they in a certain window or whatever else? And then again, Rightmessage just pulls this data in and says, oh, they bought that tag. They must be within the 7-day window. So I can say something like, pitch them here. Subscriber. I'm going to call this eligible for a discount. Get 10% off double your freelancing rate. Offer expires soon. If I want, what I could even do would be, this works with Liquid. Offer expires. I could be keeping in ConvertKit. I could say something like this: fields expire date. So when they're on my site, I could say get 10% off. Your offer expires on this date, and I could pull in that data from ConvertKit. And then this could just link to the sales page with maybe the coupon code of, whatever it is. And again, I could even pull that if I wanted to with Liquid from, if I store a custom coupon code as a custom field, if I dynamically generated them, I could do it that way. Or I could just have a universal thing that I give everyone who, when they first join the list. So this is a great way, I think, for me to get kind of that initial sale by incentivizing people with a kind of like a flash discount when they first join my list. So I could do that. And then likewise for those who are not eligible, so their window ended, not eligible for discount. So I could do the same thing, check out double your freelancing rate. And just to give you all a heads up, I'm not looking to get the copy and everything ready for production during this. I just want to walk you through the thought process I have and how I'm setting it all up, and hopefully this will trigger some ideas and so on and so forth. Okay, cool. So they're being offered double your freelancing rate. Are they eligible for a promo? If so, give them the discount stuff. Otherwise, don't. And then I'm just going to go down the chain and do the same thing here. So pitch an offer of, I need to clean up some of these, all access, or maybe I'll call it just pitch. Yeah, I need to come up with better naming. So I'm not going to go through each of these, but this is the shell I'm thinking of using. What I could also do is if they don't have any next offer, they've bought everything, or actually here, you know what I could do too? So this could be fun. Imagine if when they join my list, or when they become a customer, I like this. When they become a customer, so over here, I'm going to set up I'm going to say that when they get the tag customer for the first time, I'm going to call this new customer or something like that. I'm going to delay. And then I'm going to wait maybe 30 days. And then I'm going to add a tag that's called flag need surveying. So this tag will get applied. Then what I can do up here is if they have up here the that tag, then what I could do is I could give them a little survey. So I covered this actually. If you, I just published this little write-up on how you can do these like customer survey type things, right? Where, how likely are you to recommend? And then based on if they would recommend, push them to the affiliate program, otherwise get them to fill out a survey. What I could do here is I could ask a question, customer survey. Hey, as a customer, how likely are you to recommend Double Your Freelancing? Definitely recommend. Not sure I would. So I could ask basically these kind of like a pseudo NPS survey, right? And then I'm also going to make sure that if they do this, I'm going to store it in one of these as a custom field. So if they answer this, they'll get stored as a custom. They'll get the NPS response custom field set with promoter, passive, and detractor. I think are the things that the lingo used in the NPS world. So I'll set this, and then what I'll do up here is I'm going to modify this condition to be that if the tags include this and the custom field of NPS promoter equals blank. So if the NPS response is blank and they, so if that's blank and they have this tag, I'm going to ask them this, and then depending on how they respond, for these people, I could say customer pitch affiliate program. So these people I could send to like /affiliate, join our program, something like that. And then these people, if they're not sure, I could ask them customer passive survey. And I'd link them to like Typeform or something and say like, would love to hear from you. What's missing or something. Again, bad copy. And if they're not, if they absolutely don't like the brand or the company, customer detractor. So these are the people I want to figure out where I dropped the ball. How'd I drop the ball? Link them here to some Typeform survey. Same deal. Or it could even be a mail to, right? This could email me directly, email me directly. I might do a Typeform because it can be kept anonymous. I mean, I could pass the email address, but I'd like to tell them your feedback's completely anonymous. What I like about this again is this will only ever be asked until they answer this question. So, and if they've been a customer for 30 days. So you could do this as kind of like a way to just get data from a customer. You could even do, instead of pitching the affiliate program, maybe even pitch them on a survey that has them become a testimonial. And the idea would be you'd want to do this over email too. So I'd probably over in ConvertKit have it set up so after 30 days of being a customer, I maybe do the same thing. Yeah, I could do basically ask the same thing using trigger links or whatever in ConvertKit, but I could also have this here that draws off that same data. But I like this. I don't do anything like this now, and I've been wanting a way to automatically generate testimonials plus getting people onto the affiliate program. And that could be something too. If I pitch them on the affiliate program, maybe they're not ready to do a testimonial at that point, but I can at least, when they choose one of these, it will tag them, right? Because they're setting, or not tag them, it'll set a custom field called NPS response. And then what you're able to do, which I kind of mapped out earlier today, is something like this, where if they're a promoter, you send them on a sequence of emails about promoter stuff, maybe get testimonials, so on and so forth. They're a detractor, maybe you try to get them to fill out this survey and just say, hey, this is Brennan. Honestly, I just want to find out what I could have done better. And then if they're just mediocre, find out what would make their experience badass and amazing and so on with you. So yeah, you can have this NPS response custom field is being set by write message here. So yeah, pretty happy with this overall. And then obviously if they don't, if it's Blueprint here, I would pitch them on Blueprint. Otherwise I'd have them just exit the funnel, not get pitched anything. So this is definitely a step up. I need to obviously work on my language and content and everything else. But so let me just see what I had So, I need to get the offer funnel up to date. I've got the newsletter stuff with the pop-up end of article CTA that I showed you. So, my goal going into this was just to say, look, I've got this data that I've collected. Again, I'm getting about 40, 50 people a day out of the 1,000 people a day coming to the site who are converting. My response rate is about 7.4% of people who are coming to the site on a daily basis are answering questions. And then about 40% of people who are seeing an offer are converting. So that's pretty huge. And I think it's because they're getting these kind of personalized offers. So what I'm hoping to do is, here's my closing hypothesis, is that some people don't want to be answering questions. So for those people, give them a quick and easy outlet to get on the newsletter or to get whatever lead magnet you want. I also think that I'm missing out on a lot of opportunity by, on these key pages that are getting a lot of traffic, forego the surveying for these people entirely. Just get them a content upgrade, give them a checklist, give them a, hey, love this article on starting a business. Here's my guide or my checklist that accompanies this article. Give that to them. With the embedded stuff, I can take this and put it directly into the article itself. So I did that actually over here the other day, on where this is one of our embedded surveys, or embedded widgets, I should say, that's right smack in the middle of an article. So this is kind of cool, right? Because right here at the bottom, notice, let me actually show you this again in case you missed this. I can say, sure, here, are you familiar with the right message? It's in sync. Are you familiar with the right message? Yep. So these are in sync. So this could be cool. If I scattered these a few times throughout these key articles with the content upgrades, they could theoretically answer one question and then maybe move on. And then the next one down could collect more info if they don't do it all in one go. But I'm not even going to survey with questions people on these key pages. I'm just going to put a traditional content upgrade in front of them, but it's all right here. I don't need to worry about the content upgrade conflicting with the newsletter pop-up and this and that. I'm just saying, if they're on this page and they're anonymous, get them this. So yeah, that's pretty cool here. So overall, I'm happy with this. And in the chat, I'd love to hear, like, what do you think? Is there anything you change? I think this is definitely a step up from what I have currently. I like this about what's holding you back, since 75% of my audience isn't yet full-time. I'd love to find out why and see if any of these assumptions are true. Maybe I'll have an other. So what I could do here also, and one thing I haven't set up yet is I would sync all of these with ConvertKit. So I'll have, like, for a new subscriber, I'll know, are they full-time? What's holding them back? Or are they solo or a team? And then what kind of work do they do? So I have at least 3 bits of data that I can collect before they opt in. Yeah, so I'll have that. But where was I going with this? I don't remember. But anyway, I think I'm kind of happy with this. I think the thing that I need to do is I need to come up with a content upgrade, or not a lead magnet for people who are not yet freelancing. So an email course on, like, how to get your first client or something like that. Oh, I forgot. I remember what I wanted to mention here. If they choose other and why they're being held back, I'm going to queue them up in ConvertKit to send out an email that says, hey, I noticed when you joined our list, you said you do something, or, there's something else that's holding you back from starting freelancing. My name's Brennan. I'm the guy who created the site you opted in on. I'd love to know, just reply to this email. Like, you said it's something I didn't describe. What is it? Like, what's holding you back? And I could have just all this stuff kind of coming in on autopilot about what's holding people back. So again, pretty happy with this. I'm going to jump into the stuff here. Cool. Doesn't look like there's any questions. So hopefully this has been helpful. I mean, I know I've gone on an hour. I didn't really have a great agenda for this outside of just wanting an excuse to redo something that's been way too neglected by me. But again, this is what, while Right Message is building up, this is what's keeping me afloat. So I do need this funnel to perform. I do need people coming in from Google, opting in. If I can get, my goal is I'd love to get, from 40 to 50 day to 60, 70 day using the same traffic. I do think the content upgrade stuff will help with that tremendously. And the big thing is, since I'm driving people back to the site through an evergreen newsletter, I want to make sure that when they're on my site, they are getting promoted. Like what I don't want, I think the mistake a lot of people make is this. So if I'm if you're on if I'm a subscriber of Double Your Freelancing, I basically need to go to products and hunt and peck what kind of things that I have to offer. And you see this a lot where, the primary thing that most websites do is they try to get people on your list, right? But then once they're on the list, all the call to actions on the site are still pretty much getting you on the list. So what I like about this is I don't need to make it so people need to think oh, what should I check out next? I can say something like, hey, if you like Double Your Freelancing rate that you bought, because I know you bought it, you should check out my workflow pack, wherever that is. Yeah. Check out my workflow pack. It helps you put into place through automated systems, either in ConvertKit or Drip, what I taught you in the course so that you can start to automate core parts of the way that you generate business and also follow up with clients and onboard them and so on. So I can really make it so my focus is just get people back to the site through new articles or whatever else. They go back to the site, they're looking at it, and the calls to action on the site are going to be consistent with the calls to action that I'm sending them over email. And the different things I showed you about ways that you can use delay sequences within your email marketing app to set 30-day timers or 7-day eligibility windows for new subscriber discounts or whatever else. This stuff's super cool. I think just being able to, have this kind of flexibility. I mean, imagine why I love the way we built this is I'm trying to translate how I would even start setting anything like this up in something like Sumo or OptinMonster, and my head just kind of explodes because it's just not easy. You couldn't their form rules are so arcane that you would need it's tricky. Whereas I like visuals, I like flows, and I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna try to tonight, tomorrow, button up the copy, and then hopefully within a day or two launch this to Double Your Freelancing and hope to see my numbers improve across the board. So thank you all for coming out. Really enjoyed today. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know. Again, I see friends of mine like Justin Jackson and Adam Wathan and others doing these live streams. It's the first time I've done it. For all I know, it didn't work and I'm talking to no one, but yeah, hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions about or specifically if you have any feedback, comments, hey, why don't you try this? Oh, do that. Tweet me. I'm Brendan Dunn. Put in the YouTube comments, I guess. I can probably see it there too. But yeah, let's keep this conversation going. And let me know if you want more of these. Thanks.